Hello and welcome to our gentle yoga and meditation series. My name is Angelica and I'll be guiding you through today's practice. For today's practice, what you'll need is a comfortable place to sit. That might mean you're sitting in a big cozy chair, might mean you're sitting on a meditation cushion with a blanket underneath, or perhaps you're sitting on your bed. You'll also need a place for the physical practice today. You can do that using the chair or on a mat, and I'll kind of move back and forth between the mat and the chair to show you different options as we move along. So if you are using the chair for today's practice, you will face the chair to start, and the lap of your chair, the seat of your chair, will be the ground. Okay? And I'll show you from the mat how we're going to be moving, just because it might be a little easier to see from this angle. So we're going to start our practice today in a dangling posture. So if you're on your mat, you'll just allow yourself to fold heavy, the knees gently bent, and you can grab opposite elbows. The weight of your body releases towards the ground, the crown of the head towards the earth. More weight draws into the balls of the feet and the toes. And if you're doing this with your chair, it's the exact same. Just leaning forward onto the chair. You might find a little rocking, a little bobbing, or a movement left and right. Or perhaps you enjoy staying in stillness as you feel the weight of the upper body lengthening the spine towards the earth. Take a sigh and let go. Become aware of your hips and any sensations that are present anywhere in and around the hips, the glutes, the hamstrings. Take 3 more breaths where you are, in and out of the nostrils. Perhaps the eyes are closed. When you're ready, the fingertips will land to the lap of the chair or the ground. You'll bend your left knee and take a big step back with your right foot. And from here, you'll lengthen the chest forward, lengthening the spine, broadening between the collarbones. Feeling the work through the outer glutes as you scissor the inner thighs together. Feeling a little bit of work through the left leg, perhaps. Keep pressing through the right heel, the back of the right knee drawing in the direction of the sky. And then draw your hips back in space. The front leg comes to lengthen towards straight. Your spine might grow a little taller, a little longer. Breathe here. In and out through the nose, connecting your awareness to the sensations that are present in your body. Bend your front knee again and step back to that forward fold towards the chair or the ground. You can keep your fingertips on the chair if you're using it. You sit back, weight into the heels, sitting into a chair position. Maybe your arms reach up overhead, maybe they don't. Can you look down and make sure you can see your toes in front of your knees? And if you can't, can you draw your knees back in space more? Breathing for 3, for 2, and 1. Fold to your chair or to the ground. This time, step your left foot back, bend your right knee. Broaden between the collarbones. Bring your chest a little farther forward as you lengthen the spine. Squeezing the outer glutes, pressing the back of the left knee towards the sky. And slowly start to draw your hips back. The front leg moves towards straight. Think about drawing the left hip back and in as you loop your right hip back and in as you loop your left hip forward and in. With each exhale, the navel draws towards the back body. With your next inhale, bend your front knee, step forward. If you are using the chair, you will come to sit towards the seat of the chair, pressing into the soles of the feet and keeping your hips slightly lifted and slightly engaged. And if you're not using the chair, sink towards that invisible chair, Utkatasana, and breathe. Drawing the weight back for 3, for 2, and 1. Allow yourself to sink completely into the chair, or if you're using a mat, let yourself land towards a seat. Your feet come as wide as the mat, if not wider. Hands land behind you to help you sit tall. And you'll start windshield wipering your knees. Both knees left and both knees right. Continue moving like that at your own pace. If you're in a chair, it'll be about the same. Rocking knees left, feet are wide apart, and rocking the knees right. Exploring the range of motion through the hips. Letting both feet come to land on the ground. You will, wherever you are, help your right knee up and cross your right ankle over your left knee. So if you're sitting in a chair, you'll be sitting in a cross-legged position. Flex the right foot. Use your fingertips behind you to help you sit taller. And if you're on the ground, you can adjust. You can bring your hips as close or as far away from the heel of the left foot as you'd like. And you can walk your fingertips as high, or you can lean back as much as you'd like. Wherever you are, close your eyes and use the breath. Each inhale draws breath towards the right hip. If you're in the chair, you might lean forward gently, back of the neck long. Let the jaw soften as you inhale, breath makes its way from the nostrils down to the right hip. And as you exhale, particles of tension release from the hip back out into open space. 3 more breaths wherever you are. Creating more space in the hips so that we can sit with more ease when we come to meditate. Slowly rise up. Help the right ankle off of the left knee. If you're on the ground, extend the legs in front of you. If you're on the chair, extend the legs in front of you. Come right to the edge of the chair. You might give your legs a little wiggle, wiggle left and right. A little bounce, bounce up and down. Maybe you use your own hands to get the flesh and the meat of the thighs moving and relaxed. And then when you're ready, you cross your opposite ankle over the knee. If you're on the ground, using your hands and your hips to adjust the intensity of the posture. And if you're in the chair, you lean forward or you lean back to find that sweet spot where you can breathe feel tension, but keep that sense of centeredness and calm. Each breath being used to cultivate more ease in the body. Take 3 more breaths as you are, mindful breaths. Watch the path of the air making its way down into the body towards the left hip. And as it exits, it carries particles of tension and stress, releasing them out into the open space. Slowly come to rise when you're ready. Uncross the leg, give your legs a little wiggle, a little jiggle in front of you. If you're on your mat, you'll make your way down onto your back, giving your knees a hug and rocking left and right. And I'll give a couple different options for the chair and for the mat practice now. So if you're on the mat, the soles of the feet come to land. Your hands give a little tickle towards the heels, making sure they're close to the body, toes tracking forward, heels tracking back. And you'll start to move with breath. As you inhale, you'll press the hips as high as they can go, pressing into the upper arms. And then exhaling, letting the hips drop back towards the earth. Keep moving like that with your breath. If you're in the chair, you'll come right to the edge of your chair, hands on the seat of your chair. And then with the strength of your hands on the chair, let your hips shuffle off of the chair now. Your knees are bent, your feet are planted firmly. As you breathe in, you press the hips up as high as they'll go, pressing into the hands, squeezing the shoulder blades together, and then exhaling, dipping the hips down. So just keep moving like that wherever you are. Lifting the hips, squeezing the glutes, stretching through the front side of your hips with the breath in, and exhaling to release. 3 more times like that. Listen to your breath. Be aware of what is taking place in the body. If you're on the chair, when you're done, you'll just sit comfortably and alert. And if you're on the ground, when you're done, you'll bring the soles of the feet together and the knees fall wide apart. If you're lying down, your arms can be wherever you'd like them for this posture. I like to bring mine to a cactus shape, but whatever works for you. So this is a psoas release exercise, and it's meant to release some of the tension that we tend to carry in the psoas, the biggest hip flexor muscle. So what you'll do on the ground is you'll press into the outer edges of your feet. You'll squeeze the glutes and press your hips up off the ground. And you're pressing and pressing and pressing, and imagine squeezing something between the knees. You might find that there's some involuntary shaking that takes place in the legs. Let that happen. Breathe and stay there. I'll tell you when to release. If you're in the chair, your outer edges of the feet come to the ground, your knees splay apart, and you're using your hands. Press your hands as hard as they can into the legs, and press back as hard as you can into the hands until there's some shaking that occurs. Keep with that pressure and allow the legs to shake. Continue breathing. This involuntary shaking that takes place is releasing built up tension and stress. in the psoas. Might be releasing some built up trauma that might be lodged in the psoas. Keep breathing, 5 more seconds. Let it go. Your hips land on the ground if you're in this position on the ground, and you just find yourself in a comfortable seat if you're on the chair. Take 3 breaths, and we'll do this again. If you're in the chair, the outer edges of the feet come to the ground, the soles together, pressing the palms into the inner legs and pressing back with your legs as hard as you can until you find that shake. If you're on the ground, press into your hips, rise them up until the shake starts to happen. If it doesn't happen, don't worry about it. But if it starts to happen, can you allow it? There's a tendency to hold back and try to stop the trembling from taking place, but this is where the tension release exists. Keep breathing in and out through the nostrils wherever you are. Try not to think about it too much. For 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let it go wherever you are. If you're in the chair, bring the soles of the feet to the ground. Find the knees drawing closer together, and do the same if you're on the ground. Soles of the feet to the ground, knees fall in towards one another. Let your hands land on your lap right where the front of the hip joint is. And close your eyes and breathe. Nothing left to do, no movement left to take place. In just a moment, we'll find our way to a comfortable seat to land in our meditation. If you're on the ground, really take your time. Slowly roll over onto one side. And gently press your way up. Setting yourself up with meditation cushion, with blanket, whatever you need to facilitate a nice seated practice. Whenever you land in your seat, make sure your sit bones are grounded and your spine is tall. Take a sigh, allow the shoulders to drop away from the ears. And before we land in our meditation, we'll use a very calming breath practice called Brahmari breath. Bees breath practice for the sound that we make. And in this breath practice, you breathe in through the nostrils, and then as you exhale, it's just a humming sound. The whole duration of your exhale, you hum. You inhale naturally and keep going like that. So this sensation of the tickly sound in the inner mouth and lips is a little more sensational if you let the tongue drop away from the roof of the mouth. So it's completely your choice whether you bring the tongue to the roof or let it drop. Close your eyes or soften your gaze, and whenever you're ready, it's just your own breath in through the nose. going. Three more at your own pace. Just let that breath practice go after your next exhale. And be aware of the body seated. Draw your awareness to your hips. And see about relaxing them, softening them just a little bit more. With each inhale, watch the breath make its way from the nostrils down all the way to fill the pelvic bowl, the area of the hips, the sacrum, the glutes. And with each exhale, there's a cleansing out of this area from the pelvic bowl all the way up the torso and out the nostrils. Meditate with that visualization. Each breath in, the air flows down through the torso towards the hips, the pelvic bowl. It stirs up and releases any held on or blocked energy in that area and releases it out through the nostrils. 3 more breaths to clean out and clear out the hips and the pelvic area. sensation and simply watch the breath. Sense the tips of the nostrils as the air enters and as the air leaves the body. Nothing to do but witness. There's a light awareness on the breath. And at the same time, you're aware of the body seated. The ground below you. The space around you. And anything that you can hear, smell, taste, or see. Each exhale, an opportunity to relax and let go just a little more. Each inhale, an opportunity to draw your awareness back to this moment. Whenever you feel ready, begin to blink the eyes open. Take a sigh and enter back into relationship with the outer world. Thanks so much for coming and practice today. I look forward to practicing with you tomorrow. Namaste.